Innovative, elegant, and fun, the Cirrus Vision Jet is the easiest and cheapest way to get into the private jet world. This is the closest thing to an affordable jet with top-notch characteristics and features, and the perfect example of economics and safety. Designed and produced by Cirrus Aircraft, the road to its first model, the SF-50, has been a long and winding one. With initial development in 2003, Cirrus formally announced it at the Cirrus Owners and Pilots Association meeting in 2006, and later that year, they started accepting $100,000 deposits from potential customers. With the mock-up unveiled in 2007, Cirrus targeted a price below $1 million and a 2010 certification. Describing it as the slowest, lowest, and cheapest jet available, they had planned the jet with a 300 knots cruise speed at around 25,000 feet, with a Williams FJ33 engine and a whole airplane parachute recovery system, and it was referred to as a personal jet. In June 2008, at the annual Cirrus Owners and Pilots Association, the company unveiled the prototype publicly, and the jet made its maiden flight on July 3, 2008 at the Duluth airport. The following year, Cirrus was hit hard by the Great Recession and wanted to abandon the project due to a lack of funding. But CAIGA, a Chinese enterprise, came to the rescue. The jet has undergone many changes in its name and was initially developed under the project name The Djet, or The Djet by Cirrus. On July 9, 2008, Cirrus announced the marketing name of Vision SJ50, with the V for the V-tail and SJ for the single jet. By March 2009, the aircraft was redesignated as the Vision SF50, as it uses a single-fanjet engine. By April 2016, Cirrus was calling it the Vision Jet, and on October 28, 2016, it was certified as the Model SF50. The Vision Jet is as beautiful as it gets. You can't mistake it for another plane, primarily because it's not trying to look anything like we're used to seeing. I know that most other single-engine jet programs that failed were beautiful too, like the Epic Victory. Honestly, I wish the Victory had made it to market. I mean, the Cirrus looks great, but look at the sleekness of the Epic. This is cool. The Diamond D Jet is fairly conventional looking. It looks like a Bombardier Global that has been reduced in size, sliced in half, and with a single engine stuck behind. From some angles, it kind of tries to look like a Learjet. Old, nothing special, Diamond aircraft could have done better. But then, the Piper PA-47 Piper Jet is laughable. I mean, I'm no professional aeronautical engineer, but I can definitely design something that looks better than this. Some people will be like, ooh, those that can afford it don't care about aesthetics. If you can afford a jet, you won't be checking price and looks, but mission and capability. Let's not answer that today. The Stratos 716S is also as beautiful as it gets, but if it comes to the market without a parachute, chances are the Vision Jet will knock it off the same way the SR-22 knocked off the Cessna TTX. Sorry for that deviation. Now back to the Cirrus. Even though it looks small from the outside, the inside is very spacious. The wings are straight with the iconic V-tail. It's particularly easy to mistake the models, but for the G1 and G2, other than the beautiful designs and paintwork on the G2, you can tell the difference by looking at the surface of the wings. On the G2, Cirrus ditched the boundary layer energizers that were intended to create a turbulent airflow over the wing so the flow doesn't separate before hitting the ailerons. Roll axis handling seems even better after ditching the BLEs. Cirrus improved it by adding a simple tab on the trailing edge of the ailerons, which catches the airflow so the control surfaces remain as effective as possible. Stall speed with the gear and flaps down is 67 knots. The V-tailed structure is still interesting to look at, and there's some clever aero engineering going on there. The fuselage structure is primarily carbon fiber. The forward part up to the aft cabin bulkhead station is fabricated separately and assembled in a fixture, as is the tail cone. The carbon fiber structure below the jet engine is covered by a titanium firewall. Yes, the Williams turbofan jet engine sits right above the rear cabin occupants' heads. More on cabin noise in a minute. On the ramp, the G2 Vision jet has a 38.7-foot wingspan and stands at 10.9 feet high. The high aspect ratio carbon fiber wing structure houses the fuel bays, one in each wing between the two spars. Each tank holds 148 usable gallons of Jet A. The ailerons and wing flaps are aluminum, and all of the control system components, including the aileron push rods and flap torque tubes, are routed along the rear side of the aft spar. When it comes to ice protection, the Vision Jet uses a variety of mostly conventional methods, unlike the TKS fluid used on the piston models. The wing and stabilizer leading edges have pneumatic de-ice boots, the engine inlet is protected by engine bleed air, and integral electric heaters protect the pilot probes and angle of attack vane. The windshield and radome are protected by TKS fluid, and a reservoir holds 3 gallons of the slimy liquid. Speaking of the interior, the cabin can seat up to 5 adults and 2 children, and there are 3 different seating configurations available. The fit and finish is as excellent as it gets. The cabin is not so quiet on the G1 model, but on later models, it's quieter and they are generally spacious. The panoramic windows are a game changer. Those with claustrophobic issues won't really have issues here. Up in the cockpit, Cirrus worked hard to ease transitions from the SR-22 cockpit. I'm not going to say that flying the Vision Jet is like flying a big SR-22, as some have, because it just isn't. But if you have even limited experience in the Garmin Perspective-equipped SR-22, the jet will be a familiar environment. The latest avionics are the Garmin Perspective+G3000 suite. The SF-50 is the first jet to come equipped with a whole aircraft ballistic parachute for emergency use. Known as the Cirrus Airframe Parachute System, or CAPS, this recovery system deploys from the aircraft's nose with the goal of the survival of the crew and passengers, not necessarily the prevention of damage to the airframe. In August 2020, the Vision SF-50 received FAA approval for the installation of its Safe Return Autoland system by Garmin, the first jet aircraft to do so. The system is activated with a cabin ceiling switch and will determine the nearest safe airport, navigate to it, complete a landing, and stop, all without human input. The company offers it as an option for $170,000, which classifies it as rich people problems. Moving on to the flight deck, the Cirrus Perspective Touch Plus by Garmin leads the way. Initially, the L3 SmartDeck avionics package was selected for the jet, but later Cirrus switched to the Garmin G1000 for the production model L3 communications sued Cirrus for $18 million, and the rest is history. The Garmin avionics system incorporates built-in flight envelope protection to prevent a loss of control. The enhanced vision system and enhanced real-time weather radar are optional, and the radar scans both vertically and horizontally to provide an immediate and accurate weather avoidance tool to the pilot. The weather software aids by identifying potential hazardous areas that are beyond the radar's range. Flight displays are featured on a 14-inch widescreen that offers split-screen technology, allowing pilots to check the status of every system at just a glance. They're controlled by a touchscreen, which makes them easy to use, much like an intuitive smartphone. Moving on to the digital autopilot, which is built on smart servo technology. The fully digital, dual-channel, automated flight control system delivers precise and accurate navigation throughout the flight. Flight control inputs are made via side sticks, allowing for a roomy cockpit and effortless hand flying. The autothrottle eases the workload of the crew by providing automatic control of the throttle inputs from after takeoff to just before touchdown. Speaking of the power plant, the Vision Jet is powered by a single-fanjet controlled Williams FJ33 5A engine, which puts out about 1,800 pounds of thrust positioned on top of the fuselage. That's the reason for the V-tail configuration. The dry weight is 308 pounds with a 4,000-hour TBO. The Jet is extremely light, as its basic empty weight is only 1,610 kilograms, and this is one of the main advantages. With such weight, you aren't likely to burn a lot of fuel while flying this machine. The maximum takeoff weight is 6,000 pounds or over 2,700 kilograms. The original average range figure is 950 nautical miles if you cruise at 300 knots. But if you choose the better option of a more economical cruising speed of 242 knots, the Jet will be able to show a maximum range of 1,275 nautical miles. When it comes to fuel consumption, at the most economical cruise speed, you'll get 47 to 50 gallons per hour, but after leveling up at 31,000 feet, you'll see up to 80 gallons per hour in the initial flight phase, like takeoff and climb, or if you cruise at 300 knots. The Jet will take off with a roll of 2,000 feet, and the landing ground roll is 1,628 feet, shining as a shot field performer. The maximum cruise speed is 311 knots, and it can only stall at 67 knots with flaps. It climbs at a respectable 2,000 feet per minute, or 1,500 feet per minute if fully loaded. The maximum payload is 1,350 pounds. Full capacity is 296 gallons, and the typical useful load at full fuel is less than 500 pounds. The initial SF-50 had a cruise speed of 304 knots, which was then increased to 311 knots on the G2 model, making it faster and more efficient. Cabin pressurization was raised from 6.4 to 7.1 psi, while improved insulation resulted in a 3 decibel reduction in cabin noise. The G2 Vision Jet has a higher ceiling, more range, and greater speed than the original, and the flight deck is equipped with an autothrottle. Adding a reduced vertical separation minimum allowed a ceiling of 31,000 feet, as the early version was certified for 28,000 feet, and the range was improved to over 1,200 nautical miles. On July 20, 2021, Cirrus announced the G2 Plus variant of the Vision Jet with a slightly longer range, increased payload, and the latest advancement in connectivity, GoGo in-flight Wi-Fi connectivity. The Williams FJ33 5A engine has been finely tuned with a newly optimized thrust profile that provides up to 20% increased performance during takeoff, providing added reassurance in hot temperatures and high elevations and access to additional airports at popular destinations across the globe. This also results in a 4% reduction in takeoff and landing distances at sea level. More than a decade ago, Cirrus was one of the first companies to enter the market, and its Cirrus Vision Jet SF-50 was the slowest private jet you could buy at that time. With time and changes, it became highly successful and actually gave a start to large industry niche of highly economical, very efficient, and quite comfortable single-engine super light jets. The Vision Jet is a true vision of safety, which is the foundation of the aviation industry. Every system, design characteristic, and procedure is based on this one principle. And when it comes to the Vision Jet, the combination of the Cirrus Airframe parachute system and the Safe Return Emergency Autoland provides the ultimate level of safety and assurance. Apart from that, every Vision Jet is equipped with an integrated safety system that works passively during flights to assist and alert the crew without any distractions to guarantee maximum safety and enhance the flight experience. Some of these features include the stall barrier to stay safe from the risk of stalls, the envelope protection system for stability, and the certified flight into unknown ice system. The downside includes the fact that it is less capable than other similar aircraft in some characteristics. It flies lower and slower when compared to other very light jets and even most turboprops. Fire and smoke incidents have been reported on the jet, including a crash involving loss of control effectiveness. Moreover, the FAA grounded all the Vision jets in 2019 due to problems with their angle of attack. The stall warning and protection system, or electronic stability and protection system, was engaging in normal flight conditions in the Cirrus SF-50. The price of a new Vision SF-50 is $2 million, whereas the equipped price of the G2 variant was $2.85 million in the second quarter of 2021. The Vision SF-50 was the most delivered very light jet in 2018, 2019, and 2020. The SF-50 was intended to be a step-up aircraft for pilots who have flown the Cirrus SR-20, SR-22, and other high-performance light aircraft, and was developed initially for personal use and not for the corporate or air taxi industries. However, by 2019, the jet was FAR Part 135 approved for air taxi operators. Designed to be flown by a single pilot, it also included pilots with limited or even no previous turbine aircraft experience. Speaking of its uses and operations, many air taxi operators have expressed an interest in potentially using the Vision SF-50, and some industry experts have suggested that the jet could help revive the air taxi industry. Moreover, Florida-based charter company Verijet operates a fleet of 10 G2 Vision jets, with a total of 25 SF-50s expected by the end of 2022. To conclude, the Vision Jet is undoubtedly excellent. It's known as a versatile jet, capable of adapting to the unique needs of business and personal travel missions as its design resonates with the intended buyer. It's arguably the most technically advanced personal light aircraft ever flown. If you like our videos, please smash the like and subscribe button. You can also join us by clicking on the link next to the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.